Hello, students. Hope you all are doing great. Welcome to another lecture of English. Today, we will discuss the very first chapter of your literature reader book, Hornbill. The name of the chapter is The Portrait of a Lady by Khushwant Singh. Students, I will try to give you an overview of the text, a synopsis, but it is still recommended that you must read the text from your book. Well, in case if the book is not available yet, you can consult the ebook available on internet. Now, before we start the chapter, let us read, let us know about the author of this chapter. Khushwant Singh is a famous name in the world of English writing. He was born in 1915 and died in 2004. Very renowned Indian writer and columnist. He served as editor of the Illustrated Weekly of India from 1969 to 78 and of the daily newspaper Hindustan Times from 1980 to 83. He was a prolific writer, wrote dozens of novels and short story collections. Some of his famous work is Train to Pakistan, I Shall Not Hear the Nightingale, The Mark of Vishnu and Other Stories, and many other books. Now let us begin with the introduction of the chapter. Well, students, this lesson, The Portrait of a Lady, is a narrative by the author where he is telling us about his pious bond with his grandmother. Basically, the author describes the two stages of their relationship. One, when he used to live with his grandmother in village, and another one when both of them joined his parents in city. Now this was a transition point in their bond. How? That we will come to know in this lesson. The Portrait of a Lady is an affectionate account of the warm relationship that existed between Khushwant Singh and his grandmother, spanning over 20 long years. His earliest memories are of stay in the village with his grandmother. So to the child, she could never have been young, she was always old. The reason being because he had seen his grandmother just like that only, the old woman. Khushwant Singh in this chapter draws a lifelike pen portrait of his grandmother. She was a religious woman, always dressed in white, turned the beads of her rosary, and always used to say her prayers. She looked serene as a white winter landscape. However, a turning point came in their relationship when the narrator's parents sent for them in the city. The English school, science, and music didn't appeal to her. So this was a turning point in their relationship, and how it turned out to be that we will come to know in this chapter. Fine? Now, Khushwant Singh's grandmother was like everybody's grandmother. She was quite an old woman. It was hard to believe that once she had been young and pretty. Now, why the author is saying that it was really very hard for him to believe that once she had been young and pretty. Now, I just hope that it is a strong language that he is using, because that is just to show a child's dislike for imagining his grandmother to be any different from how he had always known her. He was totally habitual of looking his grandmother just like that only. He did not at all like the idea that his grandmother was young and pretty at one time, like other women. So that was the reason that he is saying that it was the thought itself was quite revolting that once she had been young and pretty. His grandfather's picture hung above the mantelpiece in the drawing room. He looked at least 100 years old. He had only this faint memory of his grandfather. Grandmother was a short lady. Now here he is describing the grandmother's personality. She was a short lady. She was fat and slightly bent. She had a wrinkled face. She had been looking the same for 20 long years. She hobbled about the house in spotless white clothes. She had to keep her one hand on her waist as she could not walk straight because of the old age. She was not able to walk straight. She had a rosary in the other hand, telling the beads, her silver locks scattered over her pale face. She presented a picture of peace and contentment. Now, why the author is saying that the grandmother looked serene? Because the grandmother's personality is calm and serene like a snow covered landscape. As she used to wear only the white clothes, that's why she has been compared with a landscape. And this was the description of grandmother according to his earliest memory of her. Now, what was their life in village? The narrator's parents had left him with his grandmother in the village. They were always together there, both the grandmother and the grandchild. She used to wake him up in the morning. She got him ready for school and said her morning prayer in an unchanging sing song. Unchanging sing song means in a monotonous voice, in a monotonous tone. Reason being, you can imagine that just to make him memorize that prayer too, because that is the only way to learn any language. She would give him a thick stale chapati with the butter and sugar spread on it. That was his breakfast. She carried several stale chapatis with her for the village dogs. Now that was their morning routine when they were living together in village. Fine. Now what happens next? Now the grandmother, she always used to go to school with the narrator. The school was attached to the temple where the priest taught the children the alphabet and the morning prayer, which the children used to sing in a chorus. And meanwhile, simultaneously, the grandmother, she sat inside the temple reading the holy books and scriptures. She would walk back home with the narrator, throwing the stale chapatis to the stray dogs gathered at the temple door. Now, that was their routine. She used to accompany the grandchild to the school, and while coming back from the school, she used to throw the stale chapatis to the dogs. That was their routine. Fine. Now, next comes the second phase of the story, the second part, which we were talking before also. That was a turning point in their relationship. Now, what was that turning point? One day, the narrator's parents sent for them in the city. They called them back. It was a turning point in their friendship. Now, why so? Earlier, the grandmother and the grandchild, they used to stay together the whole time, but now the things were going to change. Though they shared the same room, but the grandmother no longer went to school with the narrator. Now, it was a time when the shift from village to city brought about a qualitative change in the relationship between the grandmother and the grandson. She was not able to go to accompany the grandchild to the school. He went to an English school in a motor bus. There were no dogs in the street, so the grandmother took to feeding the sparrows during the noontime. Years rolled by. The grandmother and her grandson saw less of each other now. He got busy in his own life, the studies, the classes, the different subjects, and she was having her own routine. She asked, though they were sharing the same room, by then they were sharing the same room, but now he had very less time to spend with his grandmother. She asked the narrator what was taught to him in the school, and when he told that he was taught science, music, etc., she was quite upset as she hated English and science. Now, this was something which made her upset because she didn't like that he was being taught these subjects, and she was quite disappointed that they did not teach any religious scriptures at the school. They were not giving any kind of moral value to the students. She felt disappointed as there was no teaching about God and the scriptures at the new school. That was the turning point again for her. She didn't like music lessons being given in the school. because the reason being at those times to her music had lewd associations, and it was meant only for harlots and beggars. So the high society, or the high strata of the society, they did not associate them with music. So it was looked down by the many of the people, the high strata people. So that was the reason she didn't like that he was being taught music at school. Fine. Now, how the bond of friendship broken? Now, only thing that was common between the two, that was they were sharing the room. By sharing the room, she got to know about his lifestyle, about his work, what he was doing. Though she was not too much participating in his life, but still, there was a common bond between them. But now that was also shattered. Why? Because Khushwant Singh, when he was given a room of his own when he joined the university, he was growing up, he had his own life, he wanted his own privacy. So he was he was given a separate room. Now this increased the old woman's loneliness, but she did not complain. She accepted her seclusion with resignation. What does that mean? This is a phrase that you will get in your original this text also. The grandmother, she did not protest about her grandson shifting to another room. She was a very quiet lady. She accepted her seclusion with resignation. She became lonely but accepted her loneliness quietly. She used to talk very less, even with other family members. And she kept herself busy with her own daily routine. She spent her time praying, spinning the wheel, and feeding the sparrows in the afternoon. Now, that was the happiest time of the day for the grandmother, because that time a veritable bedlam of chirpings was around her, great noise created by chirping and fluttering of sparrows around the grandmother. And she used to rebuke them with frivolous rebukes. She used to scold them playfully, because many of the sparrows, they used to sit on her shoulders, even on her head, but she never shooed them away. She used to enjoy that half an hour of her day, and that was the happiest time of the day for the grandmother. Now the time came when Khushwant Singh, he went abroad for higher studies for 5 years, half afraid that he might not see her again, because at her age nobody can tell whether she would survive for 5 years or not. But she was there at the station to receive him, praying all the time. And even after 5 years, when he came back, she was still there, hale and hearty, though she did not express her joy in words, but she expressed her happiness. She rejoiced his homecoming in her own way. That was a altogether a different way. That was a something which even the family members had not seen since a long time. And what was that? The narrator returned home after 5 years, but the grandmother did not look a day older. She was just like the same as he had left her 5 years back. She did not pray that evening, and collected all the women of the neighborhood and took an old drum and started singing. Now, this was her way, by singing the songs of homecoming of the warriors, and that's why she was singing. She was rejoicing that her grandchild was back. She continued thumping the old drum for several hours, singing the homecoming of warriors. Narrator's family had to pursue her to stop singing and beating of the drum, as she might exhaust herself. All the family members, they were worried because she was not keeping well. She was quite old. But she continued her singing for a very long time. And that was the first time in so many years that she had skipped her evening prayer. The next morning, she fell ill and declared that her end was near. She was not keeping well. She had fever. And next morning, she said that I think I can sense that my end is near. She didn't want to waste any more time talking to them. So she continued praying and telling her beads. She didn't say anything to anyone after that. And afterwards, she just kept on praying. Then her lips stopped moving, and all of a sudden her lips stopped moving, and the rosary fell down from her fingers. The grandmother was dead. She was laid on the ground and her dead body was covered with a red shroud. So that was the she had passed away that time. All the family members they started mourning her death. And then one very strange thing happened. And what was that? After mourning the death of the grandmother, all the family members they got busy arranging for the funeral of the grandmother. It was a sunset time, and the room it was totally filled with the golden sun rays. They brought a wooden stretcher. All the family members stopped halfway in the courtyard as thousands of sparrows sat near her dead body. The sparrows which she used to feed during the noontime, they all had gathered there around her corpse. They were not making any noise. Now everyone thought that okay, grandmother she used to feed the sparrows. Maybe the sparrows are hungry. They have come here to have their food, and out of pity, the Khushwant Singh's mother she just went and she brought some breadcrumbs and broke it into little crumbs and threw some crumbs to them. The birds took no notice of them. When they carried her corpse outside, the sparrows flew away quietly. It was as if that they had come there to pay their humble tributes to their friend. Thousands of sparrows came and silently bid farewell to their gentle, pious friend, that is, to the grandmother. Now, that is the end of the chapter where the author remembers so fondly his grandmother from all the earliest memories that he is having of his grandmother. Now, students, as I told you earlier, also please have a reading of the text from your books. The things will be more clear to you. Now, what you have to do now, I am giving here a few questions which will cover this whole chapter. So, you are supposed to frame the answers of these questions and please do write them. Do prepare your notes in a separate English notebook that I had told you earlier. Also you were doing it in your previous classes, so that during this lockdown time you are able to prepare your notes as well. If you have any query you can contact me. Now, the first question is, why was it hard for the author to believe that his grandmother was once young and pretty? I told you during the description of the chapter also, because for a child, the thought is quite revolting that because he had seen his grandmother just like that only for the last 20 long years. So she did not change even a bit. So he was quite assured, he was quite convinced that okay, that was a thing that my grandmother had been looking for throughout her life. So that was the reason. What caused a turning point in the friendship of Khushwant Singh with his grandmother? Here you will describe their transition from the village life to the city life, how the routine of both of them changed and how gradually it brought the turning point, the change in their relationship. Then comes, what was the happiest moment of the day for the grandmother? Of course, when she used to feed the sparrows during the afternoon time, that half an hour, that was the happiest moment. How? Why? That you have to describe in this question. Next comes, why was the author's grandmother unhappy with the city education? Now again you will describe here that he was taught all the subjects, music, science, maths, which she did not like. Secondly, she was quite disappointed because she didn't like the idea that they were not being taught the moral values, the scriptures, the religion. So that all stuff you will discuss in this question. Now mention 3 reasons why the author's grandmother was disturbed when the author started going to the city school. Here also you will describe: number 1, she could not accompany him. Second, he was taught some different subjects. Third, she was not able to help him in his homework. She could not understand the concept, the new subjects, so that she was not able to help him in any way, and that was the thing which became which started the rift of communication between the two. Next question is, give a description of Khushwant Singh's grandmother according to his earliest memory of her. Or here you have to write the character sketch of grandmother. Here you can describe the physical description that he has given, why she was called the landscape of winter, and how she used to look like, and then her routine. Here you can discuss the whole character sketch of grandmother. It is important question, do it carefully. Now, the next question is, describe the changing relationship between the author and his grandmother. Did their feelings for each other change? No. Of course, the feelings they did not change, but the mode of expressing it did change. How it changed, that you have to describe here. Next question is, what do you think was the cause of grandmother falling sick? Again, the long duration, the long time that she kept on singing, and she did not bother about her health, and that was the reason she got overexerted because of that activity, and that's why she was fallen sick. Next question is, how could the grandmother be beautiful without being pretty? Now, this is an important question. Here you have to discuss, because pretty is something, it is some attribute that we associate with some outer beauty of any person. She was a divine soul. She was very beautiful at her heart. She was a very religious lady. Here you have to discuss not the physical attribute, but the intrinsic qualities of the grandmother, why she was beautiful but not pretty. Here you have to describe why we associate pretty with the outer beauty, and beautiful is something who is beautiful at his or her soul. And the last question is again the important one. How did the sparrows express their sorrow at the death of the grandmother? Here you will describe the last episode, how the thousands of sparrows, they came, they just paid tribute to their pious friend, and how it happened. So this in the last question, that episode you have to discuss. Fine. So students, I just hope that now the chapter will be more clear to you. Please do frame the answers. It will help you out to understand the chapter more clearly. But still, if you have any doubt, you can get back to me anytime. So in the next video, we will start with the next poem. So please do read the poem in advance so that the things are more clear to you. In the next video, I'll be taking a photograph. And till then, take care of yourself. Thank you so much. God bless you all.